Hey everyone, welcome to DCKAP Integrator Product Release Podcast. I'm Tamil Selvan from the Customer Education team, and today we are excited to talk about the latest updates to the DCKAP Integrator product, Release 4.3.0. Joining me are Jay, our product architect, who will walk us through what's new in this release, and Himanshi, our instructional designer. Let's begin. Welcome to the podcast, Jay. You are one of the first team members to work on DCKAP Integrator. Could you share a bit about yourself and how long you have been involved with DCKAP Integrator?
Sure, Selvan. Hi everyone, I'm Jaikant. I work as a senior product architect at DCKAP, where I'm currently responsible for leading the core product team and for the core product architecture. My focus is on building scalable and secure solutions that power our product. And I started the very first line of code, and today I'm leading the engineering team. And thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you to Jay. Himanshi, great to have you here. What are you looking forward to in today's discussion?
I'm excited to see how these release updates will benefit our customers and how useful they are for them.
That's great. Thanks, Himanshi, and awesome. Jay, as the product architect, can you give us a quick overview of what's new in this release?
Sure, Selvan. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
Right. So I have all the screens ready. So today I'll be talking about our release 4.3.0, which was released on February 25. And I'm not going to talk about all the items which we have mentioned here, only the key features, the top 5. So starting with snippets, this was the flagship feature in the release. So the idea behind the snippets is, let's say when we are building workflows, it used to be going larger with large number of steps and a huge number of columns. So the whole idea behind snippets is we want to reduce those. So it increases the readability, and also for reusability, we can use snippets. For one example, I have a workflow open here. This inventory workflow, which has a very large number of steps and huge columns, you can see, and with various paths and all. So when we are building a complex integration like this, it's hard to manage everything in a single screen. So to avoid that, you can cut a logic, let's say like create product or get product, some logic, and you can put it inside the snippet and you can manage it easily. So your screen will not be cluttered. It will be easy for you to view. So that's our primary use case. And second use case is the reusability. Let's say if you want to reuse the same logic like create product or update product in multiple cases, you don't have to recreate all those steps. All you have to do is you can create a snippet and use it as much as you like. It's just like functions in traditional programming. You can pass some parameters and you get an output out of it. So for the sake of the demo, I'll quickly create a new one. So I'll call this a test workflow. I'll start building. And let's say I'll create a snippet first. So go here, and the snippet name, let's say, let me call a eCommerce API. So I have a snippet called eCommerce products. I don't have any logic yet. I have an input section empty and output is empty. So let's say I'll call a eCommerce API. I already did the system. So I'll just choose, let's say, get product API and product ID. Okay, I don't have the hotcode. Let me use input. I'll come back to this. For now, I'll type hello. And credentials, I'll choose sandbox next and save. So let me add an input, let's say product ID, and this is a string record field, and sample data is just the same. It can be anything. It can be empty dictionary. I'll add the input. Sorry. Now I'll use the input here. In the advanced option, I have the product ID. Let me remove the R-coded ID and put the input here and saving it. So now I have a BigCommerce get product API here, and let me add a couple of console steps here. Right, and not valid. Again, one more console. Some error. So my snippet is added. All I need to do finally is I need to map the final value whatever I'm returning. Let's say I'll return the entire one.response and I check close. So I have added the snippet. I'll go back to the test and I will choose as console just to show it is started. And then I'll call a snippet. So I'll have a snippet tool here, use this. And you can find my newly added snippet here. And the product ID here I'm uploading, let's say 388. And I'm saving this. And in settings, let me enable the console logs and save. So let me run the sync now. Let me view it. And you can find step 1 started, step 2 product fetched, and workflow completed. You can find nothing from the console, from the snippet is being created. So hopefully the console is turned off. Let me turn it on. I'll go to BigCommerce. Let me enable this. Click save and async. Sorry, still empty. Give me a second. Let me come back. Let me add a console here also. Save and async. Yep. So you can find all the data now after I enabled the console log for the snippet. And the final snippet output is the entire data. So this is the data which is written from the API. So basically, you get the idea. So I have a logic here. I can add n number of steps here. So every time I need this, let's say here I have a use case where I called the snippet with product ID 380. Let's say I have one more place I need to call the same snippet. I'll use the snippet tool again. I'll use BigCommerce products. Now I can pass a different ID. So unclick and save. If I run this, so it will generate call the API 2 times with 2 different product IDs. So here I'm reusing same API, but the steps is in one place only. So this is the primary use case of snippets. And the other use case is readability. Whenever your flow or workflow is getting very large, you can use snippet. So that's my first and primary item in the future. You guys have any questions on this?
Himanshi, you have any questions? So basically, like this is, as you very rightly said, this is like a function in a program. Like you declare a global variable and you can call it anywhere within the program.
You're correct. Yes.
It's something like that. So you declare it globally. Sometimes you can declare it locally also in a program. So if you declare it globally, at any time where that function is called, it goes back and gets the whatever it has to be done, executed steps that has to be executed, which is there in the global variable. It is executed and the result is given. And we see the logs. Am I right in saying that, Jay?
You're absolutely correct, Selvan. Yes.
That's great. Actually, this is a great feature. Actually, like as you very rightly said, that this kind of improves the readability a lot. Otherwise, the screen may look cluttered because we may have to use in 10 different places. Now that snippets are available, the screen is much more clean.
You're absolutely correct, Selvan. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Jay.
So Jay, what do you think, what kind of use cases do you think will benefit most from this snippet functionality?
So again, the reusability, as Selvan rightly said, let's say you have 10 steps to create product, okay, and you need that in multiple cases, okay, in the if statement, in the else statement. So what you can do is you can just create a snippet with all the 10 steps inside, and you can reuse it everywhere as you like. So if you want to make changes to that core logic of creating product, all you have to do is you have to make change in only one place.
Okay, so can this snippet be shared across different workflows? Is this possible?
At this point, no. So currently, the scope of the snippet is inside the workflow only. So in future, if the need persists, we may look into that option. For now, there is no need for our customers.
Okay, thank you for confirming, Jay. You can proceed.
Sure, thank you. All right, so moving on to, we have logs page improvement. So we improved the overall logs page loading speed. We have huge number of dots, like millions and millions of rows. So it used to get performance is getting affected day by day. So what we did is we added a day filter here to improve the performance, and now it has been drastically improved. For example, in the backend terms, previously a query used to get like 40 ms or something milliseconds. Now it gets like 4 to 5 ms only. So that's a drastic improvement. So you can notice a new date filter here. So by default, we selected last 7 days. So every time you come to the page, you can see this. So if you want to change the date, you can change, and you also have a custom option. If you want to set a custom option, you can. So we do have a different retention for different customers. So based on your retention, you can choose your custom dates and apply and get the data filter here. So that's the second point.
So what log is this, Jace? What kind of a log is this?
This is the synchronization logs. So every time you sync manually, automatically, or dynamic hooks, anything, so it will be logged here.
Okay. So even though it is a very straightforward feature, I think in terms of performance, this will help a lot.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's very useful actually. Yeah.
All right. So I'll keep analytics for the end. Well, moving on to global errors. So I'll create a one more workflow. Let's call this global validation of something and start building. So let's say I have a code runner which does nothing in it, just returning hello world inside it. And let me have a console. And I'm using the code runner one. Okay, so I just have a code runner and I used it in the console. Now what I'm going to do is I'm removing this code runner. So you can straightforwardly see there is an error notified here. So users can just go here, identify the error and resolve the error, because the previous code runner is still not anymore in this step. So we have to address it. This when you have very small number of tests, this is very useful. But when you have a large number of steps like this, let's say I delete this code runner one, user will straightforwardly don't know what where and all the steps has been used, the particular code runner step. So they have to manually click path by path and identify it. Now instead, they have the errors and warnings on top, and click it, and they can find the click it. They will see the code runner is being replaced. I can directly output it with hello world, click save, and you can find the errors are gone. So this comes pretty handy when you have a large number of workflows like this, and when you're removing or creating any errors or warnings, it will be easily identified here.
Okay. That's great. So I mean, you don't have to be a developer to actually to see what bugs are there, what errors are there. So you, even a normal person, I mean, somehow somebody who is familiar with IT, I think can get to find where the errors are and what the errors are.
Yes, you are correct. Fixing is one problem, but identifying a problem.
Identifying it. So it clearly shows where the errors are and what the errors are.
Yes.
Do you think it will reduce the dependency on debug mode?
No, debug mode is interesting feature. I think every workflow builder will definitely use that moving forward. So you can just test all those steps one by one right there itself. And in technical terms, through debug mode, you will find execution errors, the compile time errors. But here you will get only validation errors.
Oh, that was great difference. Thank you.
Right. Let me move on to sensitive credential fields. So in order to improve security, so what we did is for any already added say, credential or any newly added credential, we are not allowing the user to view right now. For example, this has been added by me previously. Now I can't see what token I have added. So any sensitive credential fields like password, token, secrets, everything will be hidden moving forward. And even the user who have added this cannot able to see it again. So this is in anticipation of even if your account is hacked in some way or other in the worst case. So even though they get in, they cannot able to view your other system access. They can update a new token or parcel, but they cannot view it the existing tokens. So this is my fourth major feature. So you guys have any questions? Otherwise, I'll
No.
jump.
No, sir.
Great. So analytics is our final feature. I'll open it. So previously we do have analytics. We released in 4.2.0 for all the users. So they can just go in outside of the project and they can view the analytics only for the projects which they own. Now what we did is we added analytics inside the project. So even if I don't own any project, if I get access to the project as an administrator or a standard user, I can still see the analytics of the project, how it is performing and everything. You can look like the synchronizations, how much is happening every hour and how much are succeeding, how much are failing, getting failed. And there are a few other metrics like how many API hits I'm doing, how execution or resources I'm using, and how much storage I'm consuming, and how much data I'm transferring to and from the systems. So all these things you can see for any product which you have access, any project.
Okay. So previously we did not have such a dashboard, correct? So this is a new one for 4.3.0.
4.2.0 itself we released analytics. In 4.3.0 we released analytics inside the project. So any project, if you have access, you can see the analytics of that project.
Okay. So did you have any like kind of an example or a use case where you can say that how this will help a customer? Like,
for example, this release V430A is I'm just a administrator, not a project owner of this product. Previously, if I go outside, I'll go to analytics. And I can see the analytics of only the project which I own. For example, that release V340 is not the project I own, so I cannot see that analytics. Now I can just go inside the project, click the analytics icon, and see the data for that particular project. So all the project members will get benefited by this.
okay. Fine. Cool.
What do you think, Jay, among all these specifications or parameters, what is the important metrics we should focus on?
So I would say the synchronizations. If rightly configured, you will know how many succeeded or how many failed. For example, here, this is a test project. So you can see the total is 2000 entity being synced, but only 1000 getting succeeded and 1000 getting failed. Now I need to question why those 1000 getting failed. I need to investigate and find it. So synchronization would be the very important metric to look out for.
So does it also say like this particular like say order sync or a customer sync failed, or is it at an overall high level like it failed?
It's on a high level.
Can we kind of dig deeper is the
You
question.
can dig deeper, not in analytics. You have to switch to logs page and you can filter, go inside a particular thing, and you can identify why the error occurred.
Okay, okay. And just one more question, like, so is the dashboard customizable, or for the time being, is it like set?
It's set, it's not customizable.
So do you have any, I mean, future ideas to make the dashboard customizable, probably add more analytics and also probably dive deeper right from the dashboard itself?
Not in the near future, but we have plans.
Okay, okay. That's great. That's great. Okay.
Wait, I'll stop sharing then.
Okay. So that was a great demo, Jay. Like it gave us some idea about what are the new functionalities and features and benefits from this release 4.3.0, and I'm sure these updates will definitely help users work more efficiently with DCKAP Integrator and also engage with it more. Himanshi, you have any final thoughts that you want to share?
I just have one quick question, Jay. So, what do you think? Like, which of these features will require the most user education?
It would definitely be the snippets. All the other things are mostly straightforward, but snippets need some education. Like you asked, right? What is the use case for adding a snippet, and how to add a snippet, when to provide inputs, whether it should be required or optional input. All those education is must. So I would definitely say snippet.
That's great. So, I think like everything looks useful. I'm excited to see and create training content to help users make most of these features in future. So yeah, thank you, Jay, for such a great explanation.
Thank you,
And,
that's great.
Jay, one more question as an the product architect. So when can we expect the next release? Like, I think even the users would like to know, like, is there a timeline in mind like that you have, or
So we work on a 2-month release cycle always.
okay.
So we are currently aiming for end of April.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great, Jay. Cool, cool. And awesome, awesome. Thanks, Jay, and thanks, Himanshi, for joining this discussion. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and see you next time. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone.